So don't have a spiritual heart attack. Don't let your hearts be troubled when it comes to death. Now, Jesus is telling his disciples this because he informed them that he's going to go to the cross and he's going to die. And the disciples are like, what do you mean you're going to die? You're only 33 years old. What do you mean you're going to die? Something's wrong, Jesus. If you die, your life is going to be cut short. And there's so many prophecies. We get all the prophecies about the cross and all, but there's so many prophecies that you're going to be king in Israel. And you're going to set up, Israel as the center of the worship and rule. But Jesus goes on and says, no, wait a second. You don't understand something. Yes, I'm going to die on the cross. I'm going to resurrect. I'm going to go to heaven. But I'm coming back. And I'm going to become king of Israel. I'm going to set up at the end of the tribulation, I'm going to come back and I'm going to set up a 1,000-year reign where I'll be reigning out of Jerusalem. And so I'm going to fulfill all those other prophecies. Every so often a Christian dies at a young age, car accident. And then I hear Christians go, oh, they were a Christian at 25 years old. They died at a car accident. They're not going to get to travel. They're not going to be able to work a job. They're not going to enjoy the hobbies that I thought they were. And I'm like, Christians, what are you talking about? You know they're coming back. You know that there is the rapture and they will be resurrected from the dead and that they're going to live forever. And we come back with Jesus and we reign with him. We will be on the earth for 1,000 years and then we'll be in the new heaven and new earth for eternity. So why are you acting like it's the end, just like with Jesus? He says, Stop fretting. Stop being in turmoil. Okay? I'm going to go to heaven. Now, come with me to Philippians chapter 1. Don't lose John 14. But come with me over to Philippians chapter 1. And here's a question I want to ask, which is, it's an age-old question. Is it better to go to heaven, in a sense, when you're younger or older? If you're prepared, of course. So the Apostle Paul wrestled with this question. So turn to Philippians chapter 1, and in verse 21, I'm going to start. Philippians 1:21. So Paul says, for me to live is what? For Christ. If I'm on this earth, I'm living for Jesus. But to die is gain. If I die, I win. I gain. It's a plus. It's amazing. Okay? Verse 22. If I am to go on living in the body, this will mean fruitful labor for me. So, and if you read, he's like, I don't mind living in the body because I want to plant churches. I want to share the gospel. I want to win people to Jesus. And yet, second part of verse 22, yet what shall I choose? I do not know. Verse 23, I am torn between the two, whether to go to heaven or stay on earth. I am torn between the two. I desire in my inner being to depart and be with Christ, which is better by a little bit, better by far. It is so much better to get to heaven. But it is more necessary for you that I remain in the body because I need to share Jesus. In some ways, the only reason God leaves us down here after you're a believer is because he wants you to witness and share Jesus and to work on churches. But it's better by far to go to heaven, to be with Christ. Now, I thought I would use an illustration to explain this to all of you. This is, I put in the internet a search, and the search was, what is the worst place in the world to live? And there are places, and other people have come to me since. There are some really bad places in Brazil. There's some but anyway, one of the places that pops up, and obviously there's lots of probably terrible places to live, probably even in the United States. But this is Kibera in Kenya. And it's it's definitely the worst slum in Africa, and it varies whether it's 1, 2, or 3 in the world. So I want you to picture this slum. It's like the population and size of Pittsburgh. There's no doctors, dentists. There's no hospitals. They have very little food. The crime is rampant. The disease is crazy. Their average size home, their whole home, is 12 foot by 12 foot. That's their whole house. And the average size of a home, of the people that live in that home, is 8 people. So can you imagine living in a 12 by 12 with 8 of you? There's no running water. They don't have bathrooms. They dig holes, and then they hire kids to empty out their holes, and they go dump it in the river that they all bathe in and get their water from. It is literally like hell on earth. You with me? Siberia? Okay. Now imagine they hear someone gives them a book, and it talks about that they can get a ticket for a plane that they don't know when it's going to arrive, but you have to get your ticket ahead of time. And this plane, if they get on the plane, takes them to Mars, okay? Mars, PA, just in case any of you are wondering, okay? And imagine they're reading that. Can you believe this? Now, you have to understand, there is hundreds of thousands of kids, teenagers, that their whole life has been this. They have nothing. They don't have, most of them don't have phones, electric. This is what the city looks like. They're reading about a place called Mars, PA, where people live in mansions, where people have hospitals and doctors, and they have dentists. They lose all their teeth. They have dentists. They have eyeglass doctors, or, half the people can't see. They can't believe. They read stories. These people are starving to death. They read that there's places in Mars, PA, huge stores loaded with so much food that they have to throw out 25% of it just as a waste. Like, it's hard to imagine stores full of food, like from everywhere. When they go to Mars, there's 250 restaurants within 5 miles of where we all live. And they have, they don't even know what a restaurant is. Mars has movie theaters and sports and hobbies and activities. They've got trees and grass and lawns, and the people are friendly. It's safe and secure, and the kids, they have school. They don't have school. They've got college. This is this unbelievable place called Mars. It's hard to believe that such a place, for most of these people, does that really exist? Now, let me ask you a question. This is a question of who's better off. Let's say there's an 18-year-old that goes, you know what? No one's ever moved back from Mars to Siberia, by the way. You understand, okay? They're like, go back? And no, it's not going to happen, okay? So picture the 18-year-old says, I want to get a ticket. And let's pretend there's an older person that's 85 years old, and he's been very fearful and hesitant and not sure he wants to get a ticket to get on that plane. He's not really sure what's going to happen, and so he puts it off. But finally, at 85 years old, he says, I'm going to go for it. He gets a ticket. They get on the plane. They fly to Mars, PA, right? Tell me, who's better off, the 18-year-old or the 85-year-old? Who's better off? Who made the decision wiser? The 18-year-old. The 18-year-old goes, this is incredible. Wow, what a place to raise a family. What opportunities. It's the store, the beauty, the safety, I can't believe that I'm here. This is amazing. What is the 85-year-old saying when he arrives at Mars? Why did I wait so long? I blew it. I should have been much more open. I fought so hard to not come in the, All right. Oh, by the way, I'm not suggesting, by the way, you rush onto the plane until the Lord, you want to get your ticket, but he'll let you know when your plane ride to heaven is going to happen. You with me? So I don't want you leaving here and rushing your appointment. All right, Jesus has got your appointment. So, but you understand, where is supposedly, I just told you the worst place on earth. What do you think people say is the best place on earth to visit? Where's the best place on earth to visit? Pittsburgh? It's up there, but that's not. I want you to think of Florida. Disney World! Yeah, everyone, that's amazing. I think Mars gives Disney World a run for its money. But anyway, I was thinking that if the whole world was like Disney, when you get to heaven, Disney will seem like Caberna Slum, however you say it. That's just how much more magnificent heaven is.